soccer?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think this needs to be like the men are better than the women are better than the men. It's just, it's different. You know, the men's game is different than the women's game. You know, the men's game has started well before the women's game. We've been, from the start of the U.S. women's national team, have been the powerhouses. We've had the support, we've had the resources, the finances. When I first came on the team in 2005, you know, and Heo can speak to this. I mean, we were barely getting 5,000 fans at the game, and I think, you know, what the culture and the mentality of this team since the inception has always been to want to go out and win. That's all the team has been ever focused on, and with that, you know, has been passed down from generation to generation, and we've become more and more successful. And then, you know, once you start to do those comparisons over the years of like, hey, the men are flying charters and the women are flying middle seats to China, you know, you start to say, okay, like something, you know, is not equal, where we need to change that. And then, you know, I think that over the time, it was when I first got on the team, they were fighting for pregnancy leave, health benefits, guaranteed contracts, and then that evolved. You know, that evolved into not flying middle seats, getting chartered, equal pay, all of these different things. So I think, you know, the first and foremost, it's about winning, and you know, that's what this team is striving for. It's great to see the team currently now under Emma Hayes, like doing really well, thriving. I'm a little jealous. I feel like it looks joyful to play out there. I think, you know, not to say that it wasn't as joyful as when we played, but it was very cutthroat when we played. And so I see Emma just bringing the joy of not taking the game too serious with these players, pushing them to be their absolute best while continuing to kind of put her little flair on it, as well as bringing in the culture and mentality that's been with this team. And you know, if they continue with that formula, you know, there's no stopping them. So it's really great to see. And you know, the men's game is different. You know, they're striving for different things and kind of in a different point. They've got their hands full, and I know that, you know, if they're not going to be ready for the World Cup next summer, you shouldn't even be really playing. So there's a lot of pressure, but you know, there's something to be said about having a World Cup in your country. It does really motivate players. So yeah, it's all in all, it's been really good, and it's just really good to see the growth of the game.
Time for two more quick questions. We got to get into practice.